All right, let me pop my hard adult beverage and take a little swig. Yeah. We here with it again. Jamie, this is the part where you say, welcome back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you started. My B. Back. Frandos. How you doing? It's been a while, but we back, baby.
I feel like we say we back. We're back. It's been a while, like every stream or every episode.
I mean, that's just usually the vibe.
Yeah, I guess. Go away for a while, experience some stuff, and then come back. We're like really good friends because we go away, we know that you all like listening to us, and then we wind up coming back. And when we come back, there's always a good episode. I mean, for you all, it doesn't really matter because you're listening to this after last week's episode. But for us, it's been some time.
Mm-hmm.
So what we talking about today, sir?
All right. We got some good stuff going on for you guys today. I'm gonna bring back an old thing that we used to do, going over the topics. So today we're talking about the Pokemon Presents. We're talking about Shrek 5, because why not? We're talking about Captain America, Pirate Yakuza, the lovely and awesome car scene, Raw on Netflix,
I don't know if it's lovely, but yeah.
and talking about anime.
So, if you want to hear any of this, don't be afraid to stick around because you're about to hear all of it. Welcome back, everybody. And Jamie says,
Your one-stop shop for all nerd. What?
Let's try it again. Welcome back, everybody,
to
the Nerd Guys podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
It's hilarious because Discord cut out on you with your two.
Of course it did. I knew it would.
Yeah, that's because you got too loud. You got too loud, and Discord was like, "Nope." So what's been going on, sir?
You know, I have been working hard at my actual job, my 9 to 5, and then I've been getting back into the streaming. We had some good streams lately. And I've been trying to make moves to upgrade stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel like I'm always looking for stuff to buy because I'm like, ooh, that could make stream better.
It's funny because like I was saying at work, I'm like, I finally feel like I have money again.
Finally, feel like you have what?
Money again.
Yeah.
Because like I paid off one of my credit card bills, so hooray for that.
Nice.
And I'm almost done paying for another one, so I'm excited about that. And all I have is my last one, and I'm good. I'm upgrade, like I'm getting some new stuff, which you'll know what it is when you come to the stream. But yeah, so cool, so awesome. I'm feeling good. Also, I've been losing weight.
Nice.
hmm One of the pair of pants that I wear to work has been like falling off me, like to a degree, and that's with my belt on, and I'm like, okay.
Every person's fantasy.
Yo,
Everyone out there is like, oh man, I wish I could just magically lose weight.
bruh, it's not as magical as you think.
Nah. It's called hard work. I be working hard. That's what you gotta
hmm
tell you, but I be working hard at work on my
Yo,
feet for
for
6 hours.
dog. And like now I've been pulling the pallets of the produce to, you know, just work on it on the floor. So I know that's factoring into like what I my weight loss.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was like one of the only things that I really miss about working like a day job at a place like that, like a store, because like you're on your feet all day. There's not really many chances to sit down. So as long as you're moving around, you know you're burning mad calories.
Mm. I easily make it like because my watch will calculate if I get 6,000 steps a day.
Uh-huh.
I easily max that within like 4 hours.
That means you gotta take that goal up.
I know, but like I like seeing how far I get past it. When I go home.
Means you gotta take
Most
that goal up, sir.
yeah, I might fix it. I might change it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You say you be pulling pallets of produce out to work on the floor?
Yeah.
What kind of produce do you pull out?
So, what I like to try to pull out is most of the stuff that should and could go out. So, like if it's like salads or like fruits or vegetables, I don't. Sometimes like there's like stuff for the wet wall that comes on the pallet, and what I'll do is I will take that off the pallet like immediately and put it back into the chiller
Uh-huh.
because I'm not the one that works the wet wall. So, and then also, we might already have whatever that is being, chopped up and washed by whoever's working on it.
Oh, okay, so you be moving all the leafy greens out there then.
Mm. Do all the salads, the fruits, the onions, potatoes, all that.
Any of them ever like come to life on you?
Bruh, that'd be funny.
And I was about to say, then you could be like, oh my god, Chikorita
Chikorita.
or Bulbasaur,
Onion turtle.
onion turtle. Speaking of Chikorita,
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of Chikorita, so we watched the Pokemon Presents on stream the other day.
yes,
And one, I'm gonna say that Pokemon Company, Game Freak, and Nintendo are holding their cards close to their chests.
you
Because this
know,
Pokemon
it feels like it's
oh,
within good reason though.
yeah. No. Without a shred of a doubt. Because this Pokemon Presents was only 19 minutes and they showed some, you know, pretty interesting stuff, but they didn't show a lot of things that it's not even about what the community was expecting. It's just that that's not normal for them.
Right. Especially since like normally they drop like a big like bomb on everyone in the community. They're like, oh my god, this game is coming out at the end of the year. Ah.
Yeah. But we all know why. If we want to tell our viewers, they they might be holding their cards close to their
Mm,
chest.
yeah, it's a little something called the Nintendo Switch 2. You ever heard of it?
Mm,
Because
Man,
it's coming.
it's coming, and it's you can't stop it. Like I feel like this is probably one of the moments in gaming, like there's been so many where there's this game that's coming out and it has all these games lined up for it, but none of them are being talked about, obviously,
Yep.
because they want to talk about the system and how good the system is going to be, and then right as soon as everyone's unaware, all this stuff just starts flooding out.
Right. Because it felt like a whole lot of nothing at first. Because I'm going through the list.
Mhm.
So, Pokemon series games available in other languages. Cool. More
Yeah.
diverse, like more diversity and inclusion. You get a larger fan base. More people could play the game and experience it. You make more money. Great. Pokemon Cafe Remix getting an update. Okay. You know, that's cool if you like Pokemon Cafe Remix. Pokemon Sleep having Cresselia and Darkrai coming in an upcoming event, which, you know, it's cool. It's like what, one of Pokemon Sleep's first events where you get special Pokemon. Like, cool. And then you have like Pokemon Unite getting Suicune and Alchemy and I don't know why I'm blanking on. Oh, Alolan Raichu. You know, all that's cool.
Yeah.
But then we started hitting like the bigger things. Pokemon Masters EX.
Oh, that was such a tease.
Yeah, for real.
Such a tease. Just see Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre, and it's like, oh, we're gonna get something with them. Are they gonna be in like Scarlet and Violet or something? Nope.
It's like, no. To be honest, I can't even tell you what the difference is between Unite and EX.
Unite is like the Smite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. You're like scoring points, you're knocking people out. And Pokemon Masters EX is just basically like the mobile battle game where you play with like different characters and whatnot, like Dark
Okay.
Cynthia.
All
Yeah, and
right.
then in that trailer they were showing off like Brendan and May had Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre. And I think Steven had Mega Rayquaza.
Yeah. See, it's funny because like when Pokemon Masters EX first came out, I didn't even think that it was a licensed game, like Pokemon Company game. But hey, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, moving through the presents, you got more. So we found out Pokemon Go. They're doing the Pokemon Go tour, and now they're in Unova, which means that they're gonna have Pokemon Black Kyurem and Pokemon White Kyurem, and you're gonna be able to catch Shiny Victini and encounter Shiny Meloetta.
Yep.
So I'm excited about that because I like the black and white starters like Snivy, Oshawott, Tepig, and it'll be nice because like that's usually when I catch all my shinies and just catch a bunch of Pokemon in general. Like I like when they do the community days with them because I like starters. Like if I could have a team full of starters, I would.
Yeah, I also like the starters from Gen 5.
Um, that's not really too big a news because like they had Reshiram, they had Kyurem in the game, but now you get
Special rays with black and white Kyurem,
yeah, basically. And I'm like,
which is gonna take 20 people to fight them.
oh well, no, definitely. Like as we've seen with some of the challenges we've done out in the real world, it
I'm still
does.
starting from Garantina.
Bruh, you and me both. We were like, oh yeah, we're gonna try to take it on. It was like, yeah, no.
Back to it, you fools.
Listen, nothing will be worse than me getting gypped out of that one match where I was like, oh man, I hopped in, these people are playing, and then they were like, hey, guess what, we're hopping out because you look like you're too low of a level.
Oh yeah, I remember
And
that.
I'm like, wow, okay, sure, I guess. Well, we also got confirmation about Pokemon Concierge on Netflix, and they are apparently bringing new episodes out this September, and that's cool. I know that Epsy was saying, like, he used to do claymation, and this seems like it's kind of unrelated, but he said he had respect for it. We both have respect for it too, but I'm going to be honest, it doesn't really look like anything that I'm like super interested in, because I'm like, a Pokemon hotel company, I mean, I guess if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I liked how cute the animations and stuff was. It was very cute, but I'm like, I'm not really. I'm not going. Oh man, I need to watch this. I'm like, that's all right.
Yeah, like, it's okay.
It's serviceable. It did what it did.
It serves a purpose for that specific niche that's like, you know what? We want a Pokemon hotel story.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I feel like I still want to catch up on um Pokemon Horizons.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, I definitely feel that same way. Especially seeing as though some of the ads will play on like YouTube or whatever, and I'm like, ah, crap, I should watch that.
Yeah, that's how I feel, because apparently Dawn is now a pretty boss trainer, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so behind.
Yeah, right.
All right, moving through rapid fire style. Some other things that were talked about were the trading card game, like they're getting EX Mega Lucario, and we're like, okay, Mega Evolution's coming back to the card game. Why is Mega Evolution coming back to the card game? We all know this. It's literally because Pokemon AZ is coming out. We know this. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's having like, I was about to call it a community day, but they're doing like special raids where you can get grass on grass, Meowscarada, fire on fire, Skeledirge, and water on water Quackquaval. Which,
Oh, okay.
no, I was just gonna say, which is all good, but like, again, that's how all of them start out when you get them in the very beginning. So
Also, um, they're doing specific red, blue, and green Pokemon outbreaks. So if you are interested in any of those and trying to get a shiny, uh they're going on right now. I will tell you, if you haven't hunted for a shiny before, or if, you rarely do it, the worst one, well, as far as I when we were playing for a little bit the other day, is Poliwag, because it's basically just a lighter blue. Hooray.
eh, my stance on that. Shinies are overrated.
Yeah.
Hunting for that shiny Charcadet, I literally lost my mind, because I'm like, bruh. But then when I moved areas, it took me like 10 minutes and I found one. And I was like, you know what? Screw this.
Yeah.
All right. Continuing on, there was the announcement, which is a pretty peculiar announcement, of a new title in the Pokemon franchise, which everyone kind of like got super excited for, or at least everyone in our group got really excited for. It was for Pokemon Champions, which seems to be a tournament style battle game.
Yeah.
Basically, the premise of the game is you are the trainer and you are battling in a stadium.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pokemon Stadium or Coliseum at XD Gale of Darkness, or Pokemon Battle Revolution. Also, they're adding um connectability to Pokemon Home and Go. Well, of course, the in between of Go and the main games. So any of those Pokemon that you have in Home or your games can join you and champions to battle alongside you.
Now I know why Battle Revolutions didn't really seem familiar to me. It's because I looked at it and always said I wanted it, but never got it. So I never actually played this game.
Yeah, Battle Revolution was something else, man.
Eh. It literally looks like, yeah, like you were saying, it looks like the Gale of Darkness Stadium series.
Yeah, it it basically was that. It just was on the Wii, and like the models and stuff were really good, but like the music is really good. And you could um connect like your DS to it and like your Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum files to it and trade those Pokemon in. Well, not trade them in, but like basically have them reflected in the game. And you could use them on your teams to beat like the various like Coliseum leaders and whatnot.
Right. Now for the coup de grace. This was like the biggest announcement in the entire Pokemon Presents. And that was a new trailer for Pokemon Legends ZA. Literally, it was gameplay, and they announced the 3 starters for the region.
I will say that the style of this game, of course, is from Scarlet and Violet, but they really look like they touched it up a lot, which I'm very happy about. The characters that you get to choose are, very nice looking characters. Of course, like there's custom creators, so you're not gonna stick with the normal characters, but whatever. Um, and of course, Lumios looks amazing. And what I find interesting about this game is that while Legends Arceus was in the past, this seems to be either in the present or future.
I was voting on future just because it seems like they have future tech and they're living in harmony with Pokemon.
Yeah.
And like, even if it is quote unquote present, it could still be the future to the past games.
Right. Now, let's talk about these starters.
Okay. So everyone I heard, at least, I was trying not to watch things about this, but I couldn't help myself. All the predictions were leaning toward them using one of 2 generations. It was either Generation 3 or Generation 2, because I believe this is like some anniversary of Generation 2.
Yeah.
Well, 2 was all but confirmed prior to the release of the new trailer. However, people were saying like, "Oh man, well, what's the off Pokemon going to be?" Because like when they did Legends Arceus, it was like what, 2 Gen 5 Pokemon and then a Gen 7?
No, it was Cyndaquil,
Gen 2,
um
Rowlet.
Rowlet, and
Rowlet's Gen 5, right?
Gen 7.
Gen 7.
And then Oshawott,
And then
which is
Oshawott, which is
5.
5. Okay, so 2, 7, 5. This time they went completely left.
Mhm. 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 They went with 2 Gen 2 completing the Gen 2 set, and then 1 Gen 5 Pokemon. They
Literally,
Okay.
So I was going to say, literally, they swapped the order of what they did previously. It was like, hey, Cyndaquil, Oshawott. Okay, this time, Chikorita, Totodile, Tepig.
Oh man. I saw so many memes of like, oh, Will couldn't get in this game because of the allegations Typhlosion was going through during the year, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, guys, or there's another option. Previous game.
Yeah, and it's nothing saying Cyndaquil is not going to be in the game, because even when you play Legends Arceus, you still had Pokemon like Chimchar running around, Turtwig was running around, and Piplup was running around. So like you had the Gen 4 starters in the game.
Yeah.
They just weren't your actual starters. And to be honest, unpopular opinion, I like the starters that they picked, because in my opinion, they're 3 starters that A, don't get enough love in the community, and B, not many people would use them if they were playing the game. Because like, let's be honest, when people play Gen 2, a lot of people tend to pick Cyndaquil because Typhlosion. I like playing with all 3, but I always preferred like Totodile or Meganium over Typhlosion. But that's more aesthetic reasons. Like, I don't know, y'all could drop a comment if y'all don't like what I just said, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for me, I'm a Gen 2 boy, and I started with Totodile when I was younger because I always started with water types. But I did play with all 3 Pokemon. I will say that the Meganium line is a fantastic line of Pokemon. It's just they're stuck in a game where most of the gyms have a type advantage against them.
But that's why you have other members on your team.
Right. Right. That's how you get like Pidgey and like Dower, not so like a little bit better, but like I do understand the uphill battle that Chikorita has when it comes to that game. And I've always felt bad for it because I'm like, man, you know, I know you have the potential. It's just this game does not want you to have the potential in this specific generation.
And that was the bad part. It was one of the few Pokemon that could learn Solar Beam, which was, if I remember correctly, a one hit KO in the latter half of Gen 2.
Yeah, Solar Beam could knock out most Pokemon, yeah. I mean, provided that you're using Sunny Day.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole thing is, like, when it comes to Gen 5 and them choosing Tepig, I'm like, it seems a little on the nose. Like, no pun intended, because like I love Tepig. Like, to me, or I shouldn't say I love Tepig. I love Tepig's design. I love how cute Tepig is. He's a teacup pig who doesn't like teacup pigs. Like, he's super freaking cute. But I was never a really big fan of Embor, and I feel like being older now, I'm coming around to the design. Like, for me, a lot of my choices for my starter for the current generation always ultimately comes down to aesthetics. Like, yes, I understand everybody wants the strongest one and the one that can learn the strongest move and the one that has the best stats against everything in the game. To me, that makes it boring, because if you're just going by stats, why even play the game? You're just sitting there trying to do math. That way you can fly through the game. I actually like connecting with what I think is aesthetically pleasing, and you know, move through the game at
Yeah.
whatever difficulty level I choose.
Yeah.
But
I,
Embor to me was never like, I didn't really come around to his design until recently.
for me, I like Tepig. I like Tepig now more than I did. But that really came down to the fact that like Generation 5 was the third time that they did fire fighting type as a starter choice. And it was especially interesting because both Snivy and Oshawott do not have secondary types
Bruh, for real. Snivy could have easily been a grass poison type.
or Grass Dragon because
Or grass dragon. And
it would.
Oshawott could have been a water fighting type.
Especially considering how, and I agree with people on this. Um, what's his evolved name?
Samurai or Duat?
Same name. So Samurai. We went from Oshawott, which is two on 2 feet.
Bipedal.
Uh-huh. And then Duat.
Bipedal.
And then Samurai.
Quadruped.
Why?
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 It's like Sprigatito all over again.
Cute cat then gets on 2 legs because it's, and then it becomes basically everyone's, fantasy.
Then it becomes
finally
Joker from Persona.
Bro. Persona. But yeah. Uh, so I'm excited to see what they do with these evolutions. I'm also wondering if they will mega evolve.
I do think that they will mega evolve, but here's the crazy part that they left us in the dark about. They didn't tell us or show us what their evolutions, like their final evolutions, are going to be. They didn't tell us what the typing is going to be, and I feel like that's going to come out in the Pokemon Presents in, what is it, April for the Switch 2.
I don't think they're going to reveal it because they didn't do that the last time. They only did that when we were really close to the game coming out, and considering they said that it's like later this year, which probably means summer, or no, I don't see them doing fall.
I think it's going to be November. I'm like,
Could be.
Mark my words, everybody. I think it's going to be the holiday season because.
Oh no, actually, you might be right about that because drop a Pokemon game is like around that time.
Exactly. And if I remember correctly, the only Pokemon games to drop in the summertime were the mainline ones that have the old format where it's like battle gym leaders, get badges, go to Elite Four, catch legendary, like the regular Pokemon stuff. For this,
I mean, it all. Oh.
I was gonna say, for this, I think it's gonna follow the Legends Arceus route where it's like, hey, we're releasing a little closer to December. My only hope was that they were going to say, hey, we remade Black and White. I'm still holding out for that.
I feel like they will tell us that. I do feel like that because I don't really see them not doing that. But also, it's what I was saying earlier. I feel like they're keeping their cards close to their chest because the Switch 2 comes out. Well, the direct happens April 2nd, and I'm betting that the console itself will probably come out not too long after.
Yes.
So probably summertime.
That's what I'm thinking, because right now, as we speak, Nintendo allegedly is producing all of the consoles that they need to produce because they said they didn't want scalpers to get a hold of the consoles and basically do to them what they did to Sony and the PS5.
Yeah.
So Nintendo got our backs, and this is why I'm an avid Nintendo fan.
Yeah, one of the things I also heard is that Nintendo is planning to make the Switch to a competitive price, and I'm like, that could be potentially dangerous.
Well, see, that would
I
be
mean, it's
all
a good
fine
thing.
and good if we weren't in the economic state that we're in.
Yeah.
With the whole, like, we'll just rip the band-aid off with the whole mention of tariffs.
Mm.
If we weren't talking about putting a tax on every single thing that is coming from overseas, then gamers would be cool, because like if it's a competitive price and it's a competitive system, basically the GameCube of the modern era, then I could see it being like, I don't know, $299 for the top tier one, which would be a competitive price, but it would do the most, and I'd be okay paying $300 for it.
I was gonna
But
say, like, that price right there is the perfect price for Nintendo's, especially because they don't need to hike up the price because
right,
they know that, oh, this is only $300 for the best one,
right,
bro. I'm getting three of them.
yeah, and it's competitive because like you figure what PS5 was
It was 500.
499.
500 when it was released.
Exactly. So Nintendo usually undercuts a little bit, but that's because they know their consoles aren't as powerful. But this console is allegedly as powerful as a PS4 Pro. That was the benchmark, which means that it's just a little bit less quote unquote powerful than a PS5.
And imagine if it has all the tech that's been rumored in it, but its price point is $300. That is basically Nintendo walking away with truckfuls of money.
Now, that is in the old world. What I'm going to say to everybody out here now, regardless of how you feel, start saving your money now. That way you could buy it for your kids, your nieces or nephews, yourself. Start saving money now, because I believe that it's going to probably be a price hike of maybe a couple $100 over what Nintendo was originally planning to sell it for.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much it costs, people are going to go out and buy it, and it's going to ruin the market, because Nintendo's going to be like, well, no matter what we set this at, our fans love it so much they're going to buy it. Hell, I'm buying one regardless.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. As soon as it was announced, I was like, "Oh, I'm getting it.
Yep.
I don't care. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care. I'm
Yep.
getting it."
Day one. And they're allegedly releasing special editions on day one as well. So I'm like, well, we're going to see what we can pre-order. And we're going to
Especially
pre-order it.
if since it's rumored that Metroid Prime 4 is one of the
Mm-hmm.
games, and a special edition Metroid Prime 4 with uh special Joy-Cons and a potential controller, bruh.
Yep. And everyone talking about the potential light sensors or laser sensors inside of the Joy-Cons. I think that's cool because, it's potentially a mouse,
Yeah.
which means that you could probably do quote unquote PC level stuff with your Nintendo Switch now. I don't know. I think that's cool. It's a whole bunch of rumors floating around. Nintendo's being silent. They're like, we're not going to confirm or deny anything. We're just going to let you know we're making another Mario Kart, and we're going to let you know some of the big title games that are coming out.
I'm gonna say this, and if it lands, it lands. It doesn't. Please stop spoiling stuff, and then being surprised when companies fucking change it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Case in point, Marvel. Marvel had a whole DLC plan for Spider-Man 2 with the Beetle. But what? The community destroyed it because they hacked their system and gave away the plans for the next 3 games that were coming out. That's why we're not getting a Wolverine standalone game, which probably would have been really good.
Sometimes we can't have nice things because people want to go and spoil it. So please, for the love of everything, just let it happen.
Bro, that's the title right here. Like, so many people are data mining, trying to be the first to understand what's going on with the Pokemon games, and I'm like, bro, just be excited. I know you need content, but just be excited. The more you feed into these insider tips or these people that are, you know, hacking into these companies and found back doors and crap like that, the more they're going to do it because they're getting notoriety from it. But you know, you can't get on the, like, it's sad you can't get on the internet on days like this because the embargo lifts the day of. The people that are making videos about it probably knew about it long before now, and the people that are reacting to it are watching it in real time as it goes live, and you know, rightfully so. You know, make your money, get your content, but there is no secret, like, nothing's sacred anymore. Where, you know, back in the day, if the Pokemon Presents would have happened, it'd have been like, all right, cool, we'll give everybody a couple days to watch it, and then like our videos will start rolling out later on in the week. Nope. An hour after the Pokemon Present comes out, yeah, we got videos. Here we saw on the Pokemon Presents. Here's me reacting to the Pokemon Presents. Like, I know it's kind of like I'm being a hypocrite because we did stream it, but that's the whole thing. We streamed it. We didn't release a video on it. We streamed it. And we're talking about it 3 days later.
Yeah, giving our opinions of what we saw and whatnot. Like, I don't wrong with what people do because, like, you know, it's the way that that YouTube just allows things to happen. You know, don't be mad at the player, be mad at the game. You know what I mean? But I will put up my hands and say, like, it is more exciting. And it's just with anything. It's more exciting the less you know, because when you see it for the first time, you're in genuine surprise or happiness, and it's not like, oh well, like you're still happy, but you're like, oh man, well I did see it, or like a little bit of it, so I was like, like, no, you get that genuine, like, wow, I didn't see that coming, like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, I think the Pokemon Presents was a little lackluster. I appreciated what we got to see because we got to see that we're going to be in Lumio City, and it looks like the game is going to take place inside of the city. Like, just sitting here looking at the article that Pokemon Company themselves have written on their website, it literally reads, a new trailer for the much anticipated Pokemon Legends ZA game shows off more of the adventure set in Lumio City. You know, keyword being set in Lumio City, with Chikorita, Tepig, Totodile as your first partner Pokemon. You'll start off on a sightseeing tour of the city where an urban redevelopment plan is underway to shape Lumio City in the place that belongs to both people and Pokemon. So basically, they're trying to live in harmony with Pokemon, and you're on a tour, and something crazy is probably going to happen. That craziness is probably going to be like, oh man, the evil organization that's trying to stop the redevelopment plan is running through. Whatever shall we do? Oh, there's this random 3 Pokemon that run up. Hey person, Oh man, you want to help? Yeah. And then at the end, the innkeeper, who is, the prince or king from 3,000 years ago, is like, oh, I'm going to be the wise old sage, but thank you very much for doing what you did. You didn't have to do that. Here, take the Pokemon that you chose as your partner and go forth and set out on an adventure.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to be let down because I'm pretty sure that the game is only going to take place inside of Lumio City.
Yeah, it's starting to really seem more likely, but I'm holding on to a little bit of skepticism because I'm like they're setting us up because Game Freak does this a lot. They share the least bit of detail so that we're just like, oh, okay, well, this is all they're giving us, and then I'm like, psych.
All I'm saying is, if we're only in Lumio City for this entire game, this city better be huge.
Yeah, and jam packed with lots of stuff to
And
do.
jam packed with lots of stuff to do. It better be like Mesagoza times 3.
Yeah, for real.
Pokemon's just they doing the darn thing.
Yeah, man. And speaking of people doing the darn thing, Shrek. Shrek 5 is 2026. How many of you remembered that Shrek 5 was coming out?
Honestly, I didn't even really care. Like, I'm probably gonna watch it, but everybody's hyped because they're like, "Oh my God, Zendaya is Shrek's daughter. Shrek and Fiona's daughter is being played by Zendaya. Oh my gosh!" I'm like, cool. I feel like I'm a little out of the age range. Like, personally, Shrek for me ended with Shrek the Third.
I was gonna say Shrek the Third, but I really thought about it today. I was like, nah, because I actually my favorite of the movies was Shrek 2. So I'm like, if you were to ask me, I'd be like, Shrek 2 is when it ended for me.
I was about to say, personally, like, Shrek 1 could have been a one and done movie, and I'd have been A-okay with that.
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel it.
It's one of the few movies where I'm like, you could have made this one movie and that would have been it. But I also feel like Shrek was that movie that put DreamWorks on the map to do all the stuff that they've done today.
Listen, there's few times where I will give Shrek credit like that, but like that's definitely one of those like things that Shrek has done. Also, Shrek has given us lots of memes.
Yeah. And I feel like they're leaning into that this time. Because of the whole mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Oh yeah, and they swipe on it like it's a cell phone. Now, did you watch Shrek 4? Because I didn't.
Um, I I watched it. I don't remember it, but I know I watched it. I think that was the one with Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, I think I seen like a little bit of that one, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I know I did not watch it all
If
the way through.
it felt like one of those half baked movies that didn't really have a plot. Oh yeah, I remember this one. It wasn't one with Rumpelstiltskin. Basically, what happens is Shrek is like, "Oh man, I hate my life. Oh man, these kids are unbearable. Oh man, I wish I never would have done what I did." And then Rumpelstiltskin is like, "Oh yeah, you could have that life."
Uh,
And he's like, here, sign this contract. He signs it. Poof, all of it goes away. Nobody knows who Shrek is, but the world's thrown into chaos because now Rumpelstiltskin rules the world.
Oh yeah, because this is the one where he's having a midlife crisis.
Yeah, basically.
Ah, yeah, and then like I do remember like the kid Arthur was his name or something like that. The
Yes.
he was also like going through something at school or something like that, and so basically they were working together.
Yeah, this was literally the movie that gave us the meme. Do the roar.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I only remember bits and parts of that because I'm like, oh man. But like I said, I don't know. For me, and like maybe a lot of people feel the same way. Shrek just was like, oh, okay, well, this is cool or whatever for like a little bit. It was memey. It was, it had bathroom humor or whatever in it. But after a while, I was like, okay, I don't care no more. I've moved on.
Yeah, it's like I'm grown up.
Oh man. Now, an interesting fact about Shrek 5 is that this movie was originally supposed to release in 2013. So it took 13 more years for it to happen.
And I feel like it could have stayed locked in the DreamWorks vault.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, for all that, we might as well had just left it where it was. We didn't need it to come back.
Nah, Paramount needed another reason to have another exclusive movie that
Yeah.
that's on their platform.
Yeah.
That's my problem with film companies. It's like I'm sorry, this one's distributed by Universal allegedly. They milk these things for what they're worth or more than they're worth, and then it turns the franchise from something that was beloved into something that people can't stand.
Ah.
And
The
some people,
Lion King.
oh god, yes. I saw a TikTok today with the whole brother song, and I'm like, dog, that's something that literally did not ever need to see the light of day. Whoever signed off on that song deserves to be fired.
I I don't understand why. Why did we need another live action like it's not necessary. We didn't need the first one to be honest. But Disney would do what Disney do. So,
I was just cool with it because Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, was one of the main voice actors.
I mean,
Beyonce, I could have taken her leaving. Like the Beehive might come after us, but personally, I didn't care if she was in it. I was more happy and excited about Childish Gambino.
I was excited about him being in it too. And like I didn't mind she was in it. I just didn't think she needed a song. I thought that was
It's
unnecessary.
Beyonce. You know she's going to get a song. She always
No.
gets a song.
Why? Why?
Because the world seems to think that she has the best voice of the modern age. It's like saying Drake is the best rapper alive.
I knew it was gonna happen. Coming. It was coming.
Oh, my bad for all the Drake fans out there. Let me run that back. It's like saying Kendrick Lamar is the best rapper alive. Dog, I don't even care anymore at this point.
Uh,
I don't know. Movie companies are going stupid at this point. But one company that seems to be trying to get on the right track is Marvel.
yeah.
Marvel
They got
Marvel is really trying to scale everything back and rein it in after the whole Infinity Saga thing. With the whole Jonathan Majors thing, they kind of put the kibosh on the multiverse saga, even though they're still writing it, but they pivoted a lot, and I feel like they've learned that, hey, while people do like the big cosmic events, the thing that the fans really loved was watching the growth and the steps coming up to that movie. So you could literally do the same exact thing with different characters and it leads to a cosmic level event. That's the sauce right there.
Yeah, I think that's what they're heading towards. That's what it seems like to me, at least. And for me, I know that I'm a minority on this, but like, I didn't really find that what they were doing was bad. Maybe misguided a little bit, but not anything that I'm like, oh man, like this was bad. Like I've seen some of the movies that have come out, in that period of time. And I'm like, people be too harsh on this. Like,
The issue
and
wasn't so much the movies, it was the amount of media that they were pushing and trying to interconnect all of it, because they had like 5 different series that came out within a month of each other, all streamed exclusively to Disney Plus. Plus, they had movies coming out in the theater, and people basically started having trouble trying to keep up with all of it.
yeah, that part I understood, but there were people legitimately saying like, "Oh my god, this doesn't make sense," and oh, and I'm like, I watched it and I understood what was going on. Maybe it's me. I mean, I didn't watch all of the shows and stuff, but I still understood the general sense of what it was trying to tell me. I didn't feel like I needed to go watch something else to understand what was going on. And I'll say this cuz like this sometimes happens when you watch Super Sentai, right? But like there might be a special where a character gets a power up, but like you don't see it in the show until the episode that it just appears in. That doesn't happen all the time, but in the times that it does, it's like, oh, this is cool. So like I feel in that same vein where it's like, oh well, if it's the show is telling me, hey, you might want to go check out the WandaVision because this specific next thing that you're about to see has stuff from that show. Okay, that makes me feel interconnected with the universe. But I understand like everyone's uh problem with at once and not being able to catch up.
Yep. Another thing is people don't know how to separate the comic universe from the cinematic universe. And it's like, dog, it's comic books. You could change anyone's origin, you could change how anything happens. And I feel like that was the main reason that the Marvel executives and storytellers went with a multiverse series to begin with, to sort of like set the foundation for the future of the franchise as a whole, where you're like, hey, guys, remember, there is a multiverse out there, even in the comics. So the cinematic universe is a part of that. But stuff in here can be a little bit different than how they are in the comics.
Yeah, it's like it's okay. Everything doesn't need to be the same as the and like that's what I like from from a standpoint of watching stuff. I as long as it has some of the main points that would make sense, it doesn't bother me. When you go to watch like any of the Spider-Man movies, the main points are talked about, but something completely different is going on. This is a different Peter Parker. This is a different Mary J. So on and so forth. Like everything is not so cookie cutter, and I like that. And it's funny because like people complain about the fact that like there are movies that are cookie cutter, and they're like, "Oh man, this is just what it was supposed to be." Blah blah blah. It's like so they can't like the writers can't win. If they change it, people are mad. But if it's the same thing, people are mad.
For real. Like, yeah, if they took, like, for instance, the let's talk about Captain America Brave New World. If they took the origin story of Red Hulk took that entire comic series or the comic run and adapted it to the screen word for word, scene for scene, everyone would have been like, "Oh man, they aren't creative. Like they could have changed some stuff. They could have been more creative. They could have wrote this. They could have done that." But like everybody becomes a critic at that point, and it's like, well, you're basically damned if you do, damned if you don't, because people aren't going to be happy no matter what you do. And the reason they're not happy is ultimately because it's not the way they would have done it or they would have liked to see it.
Yeah.
Personally, I'll put it out there. I went to see Captain America Brave New World. I loved it. For the people out there that are talking about it's not a sequel to the early 2000s Hulk run, I'm sorry. There were more elements talking about the Hulk in it. Or I'll say it's like 50-50. Yes, I understand the plight of Sam Wilson as Captain America, specifically Black Captain America. I understand that. But it's basically like they took the sequel that they wanted to make with the Hulk, with the continuation of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and mashed it together in one series, which is okay because when you read a bunch of different comics, you see that they'll take one storyline and then sometime later have a completely different storyline, but you see that the storylines for the two comic series crossed over at one point in time. And I think that that is cool. Like, this movie can be a sequel to The Hulk, which was the movie that was supposed to start the Avengers universe in the beginning, and also be the thing and the symbolism and all that about there being a new Captain America. Like, and first off, to all the people hating on Captain America's black, pick up a damn book and read it. Falcon does become Captain America in the comics. Y'all just need to stop hating. Whatever issues y'all gotta tend to those yourself.
I was gonna say this is where this what I wrote, and I'm gonna read it just word for word. But the more things change, the more they stay the same, because every single time we have a black character as a new superhero or a existing superhero, it's like, oh my god, he can't have nothing. Blah blah blah. It's like, okay, so I'm I'm guessing that, there's just one Green Lantern, right? Even though we've been told that there isn't.
See, they can't argue that one because the ring literally chooses the person.
Or when we do come up with a new character, it's like, oh, but why is he that powerful? Static shock.
Yeah,
Why?
exactly.
Or we introduce a new type of character to the series, Miles Morales, and it's like, oh man, they're just gonna replace him, replace the original with him. It's like, no, we've been down this road. We have all these different Spider-Men introduced over the years. One of them's a pig, by the way. And you have a problem with one of them being black? Wow.
I think our show just got labeled as woke.
Yes, like the X-Men.
Yeah, exactly like the X-Men. There you go. I could tell a funny story about like a storyline about the X-Men that I just wound up watching, and I'll save it for another time. But yeah, X-Men, yeah, they're pretty woke, and depending on what your connotation of woke is, whether it's like a good thing or a bad thing, but they've been like that for years. But yeah, I understand your point, and like if a lot of people are mad about this, bruh, they're really going to be pissed off at Miles Morales because allegedly in the current run of his comic series, he is not only the strongest Spider-Man, but now he's looking like he's I think they said a vessel for Anansi, the original spider god, who gave all the spider people their powers, aka the spider god from African lore, who gave all of the other spider characters from Peter Parker to Silk their powers. This dude, I think they called him a conduit for Anansi or something like that. But yeah. So
Yeah.
be mad is how I feel. I like equal representation. I was down for America Chavez when America Chavez became a character. Like, hey, there's more than just a couple type of people out in the world. So
Absolutely.
on that note, I feel like we got to give some questions out. What are some questions we can ask the viewers or listeners, depending on where you're watching or listening to this, consuming this media?
All right. My first question is did you watch the Pokemon Presents? How did you feel about it?
Who's your favorite starter, and which starter do you think you're going to use?
Are you going to watch Shrek 5?
I'm probably going to watch it.
If the answer is no, I understand. Because I'm not.
I gotta finish the series, man. Like I watched the other 4 and the side movies. I gotta finish the series.
And how do you feel about Captain America?
Just to reiterate that, you said, how do you feel about Captain America?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. This is a pretty fun episode. As always, we didn't get to talk about everything that we thought we were going to talk about, but that's why there are other episodes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it's time for the sign off. Until next
Yeah.
time, everybody. I've been
Thank you guys.
KitsuneCy.
And I've been Jamie Shadow 9.
And we're out of here.
Bye.